For today's activity, what we're going to do is we're going to construct 6 triangles. Today we're going to use protractors and rulers to do the construction. You're going to be provided with some colored paper. I happen to have a green sheet here. You may or may not get green. To save paper, we're going to try to get as many triangles on one sheet of paper as we can, so don't necessarily make your triangles giant. Each triangle, you're going to be given 3 measurements from that triangle. Remember, every triangle has 3 angles to measure and 3 sides to measure. So I'm just going to give you 3. So I might give you all 3 sides, all 3 angles, or a combination thereof. And then the other ones, you don't have to worry about how big or small you make those. Okay? Once your triangle is drawn, we're going to label the vertices inside the triangle. I know that's really small. Inside the triangle, we're going to neatly cut it out and write our name and class period on the back, and then you're going to turn it in. So one side is going to look labeled, and so that way when you cut it out, you can still see the label, so inside the triangle. And then the other side of the triangle, when you flip it over, you're going to have your name and your period. Okay? Then there's going to be, it says the folder has measurements. It's not a folder, it's a page protector that you're going to turn your triangles into. Okay? And you can check your measurements to see if they are correct. Okay? So for example, let's try one that has all 3 angles so we can practice using our protractor. Okay? So if we're using one that has all 3 angles, angle D has to be 80 degrees, angle E has to be 30 degrees, and angle F has to be 70 degrees. And this triangle, I use the same triangle, cut and paste it every time, so these triangles are not necessarily accurate. Right? This little tiny angle, if it's 70, then this big angle wouldn't be 30. Okay? So this picture is not to scale. It's just an example of how to label it once you're done. Okay? So again, angle D has to be 80. So what I like to do is, a lot of times I will just start at the very bottom of my paper, okay, and then I'm going to come out at an angle of angle D was 80 degrees. So I'm going to put my protractor, I'm going to put the center of the protractor, not the bottom. I'm not going to line it up with the bottom like this, because then the center is way up on the edge of the paper. I'm actually just going to line it up with the corner of the page. So notice the corner of the page is going out to 0, and then the corner of the page is going up to 90. And I want to make an angle that is, angle D is 80 degrees. So angle D is 80 degrees. Here's my, from 0 on the inside, I'm going up to 80. So angle D is right here. Okay? So I'm just going to turn my protractor sideways, and from the corner, there's my 80-degree angle. Okay? So now, the next angle is angle E. And I'm just going to put that somewhere over here, right? Because this is my angle D, and we said it is 80 degrees. Okay? So now I'm just going to put E somewhere over here. So I'm just going to make myself a little dot where I want to put E. And angle E is 30 degrees. And so I could have put that wherever I wanted to. I'm trying not to take up too much of my paper, so I'm just going to put it right there, as opposed to like putting it way over here. I could put it a little closer, a little further. That's fine. Okay? And again, I'm not going to line up with the edge of the page, right? I'm going to line up with the line from 0 to 0. And then I'm going to put that dot right in the center. And this time, I'm trying to open up to make a triangle with this 80. So I'm opening up that direct to the left this time. And if I want 30 degrees, when I look at the left, I've got a 0 here, and I'm going to open up 30 degrees. And then I'm just going to connect it. And this was angle E, and it was 30 degrees. Okay? Then, notice it made a triangle. So let's check. Let's measure that angle. That angle is from 0, if I line right up with 0, so that's my outside numbers. When I open up to 70. And so angle F, if I notice on my paper, angle F was 70 degrees, because I know they have to add up to 180. Every triangle adds up to 180. So if I can find 2 of them, the third one's just magically going to work out. So the third one is 70 degrees. Okay, so then I'm going to grab some scissors, and I'm going to carefully, neatly as I can, I'm going to cut this triangle out. So cutting the triangle, I'm trying to stay on the line, cutting the triangle out. Cutting the triangle out. All right, so there is my first triangle. Now, if I just turn that in, my teacher, me, is going to have no idea whose triangle that is. So on the back, I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to write my name and what period I'm in. Okay? So then I'm going to take this and I can turn it in. If I want, I could make my next triangle and then go turn them all in. This is triangle DEF. So you're going to find a page protector that has triangle DEF on it, and it has the angle measurements. Here's how I'm going to grade your triangles. I'm literally going to say, okay, is angle D really 80 degrees? And I'm just going to slide it in there and see, does it fit? It sure does. That's 80 degrees. Angle F says it's 70 degrees, so I'm just going to rotate it down here to angle F. And I'm going to say, does it fit in there? Is it 70 degrees? Yep, it sure is. Angle F is 70 degrees. Well, then E is definitely going to work. So then here's my angle E. It's upside down now, but here's my angle. Let me zoom in. My angle E. Now I had my F here, and when I rotate my E to stick it in there to check, I do have to put it upside down, and that's okay. Doesn't matter. And I can see that it is also 30 degrees, so it matches perfectly. Once I'm happy with how, and I'll give you a degree or two off, but they need to be pretty darn close, okay? Once I know that that's good, I'm just going to open up that page protector and I'm going to drop it in with everybody else who turns in their triangle that day. Everybody, all the classes are going to go all mixed up together, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Let's try one where we have to do side length. This is probably the hardest one. And I put it on here last because I wanted you to get some of the easier ones out of the way. But this one's probably the not so much hard, but you have to think about it, and it can be tricky. Okay, so all three sides have to be the same, which in theory, or not the same, but or have to be specific, which in theory doesn't seem like it would be that hard. But to figure out exactly how far open or closed to put the other two sides once you make your first can be difficult. Okay, so I need 9 centimeters, 8 centimeters, and 7 centimeters. So I'm just going to take that same piece of paper that I was doing before, and I'm going to measure and see, do I still have 9 centimeters along the bottom? Because if I can already have one side cut out for me, that's great. Oh, perfect. So I am going to actually come all the way here to the corner to where my 9 centimeters is. Let me zoom in. So I'm just at the corner of my paper, and I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to line up 9 with the edge of my paper, and I'm going to mark not the beginning of the ruler, but the beginning of the measurement on the ruler, right? So I know that from here to here, this is 9 centimeters. Okay, and my 9 centimeter segment is AB. So I'm going to actually wait to put my A, B's, and C's in there. All right, so then I need a 7 centimeter and an 8 centimeter. The problem comes in when I make a mark, I come over here and I go, okay, I need 7 and 8. So I'm going to mark here. I'm going to put this at 7, mark it. But then if I come over here, it's getting that, oh, I made it actually an isosceles. I ended up right at 7. Okay, so the problem is figuring out how far open or closed you need that 7 centimeters so that you can get it. And so it's just a little bit of trial and error. Or here's kind of a fancy little hint. Okay, you can go, hey neighbor, while you're measuring with your protractor, can I borrow your ruler? And you can put one ruler at one end at 7, and you can borrow the other ruler and put it where you're going to be measuring 8. And then you just open and close them until you can get them to where the 7 and the 8. So it does take a little bit of finagling, but where the 7 and the 8 will line up together. So you just kind of keep rotating it until you're right on the corner. Oh, look, there we go. Okay, so my 7 is here, and then my 8, let's see, Am I right lined up? It's pretty darn close. Okay, so I've got 8 centimeters, 7 centimeters, and 9 centimeters. So I'm going to draw that out. Oops, I'm a little bit off on my triangle here. So we'll see how much that affects it, if I want to redo it or not. Okay, so this was 7 centimeters, and this was 8 centimeters. Okay, so the AB was 9, the BC was 8. So since AB was 9 and BC was 8, AB, BC, B has to be the one that's on the 9 and the 8. So that A, B is 9, and then B, if I had put my B over here, I wouldn't be able to do BC. BC is 8 and CA is 7. Okay, so I'm going to cut it out and see if that little slip of my ruler made my whole day sad. Let's see. But remember, your teacher, she's really nice, and she's going to give you a little bit of leeway when she measures. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to take this to the ABC measurement, the ABC folder, and I'm going to see if it matches. So first I'm going to take AB. Now notice when I flip it over, my A's over here, my B's over here, it's the same, it's okay, it's the same length. I could just put it on top, I suppose, to get the letters in the right place. I would say that's pretty darn close. Okay, I'll take it. Okay, then let's look at BC. BC, I think that's pretty darn close, I'll take it. And then AC, that might be a little hair long, but I think it's close enough, I'll take it. It's starting to get a little long there on the end, but it's close enough, I'll take it. Okay, so what I didn't do is I'm not going to get any credit for it, right, because I didn't put my name on the back, so I need to make sure I put my name on the back and what period I'm in, because everybody's going in together, so if you don't put your period, I can't guarantee you I'll be able to find you and give you credit. Okay, so then I just drop it in there and it's good to go. Okay, so then I'm just going to continue on until I have all 6 of my triangles made. Okay, and that is your activity for today.